and yell.
You better back it up.
Shake and yell. Shake and yell. What's up?
Back it up.
What's up? Exactly. Pussy nigga.
Who's that?
Okay. I just wanted to say that I think that we addressed a lot of issues when it comes to black men, and I understand and I hear you. I think people have to be very honest with themselves and say, whatever you think the state is of a black woman, and I noticed you mentioned, the whole, she's an educated black woman, she can do for herself, and she does this, and she going for the thug and all that stuff. You have to understand, just like you guys say that there have been black men that have been abandoned by their fathers, there have been black women that feel like they have been abandoned by black men, and they have now taken on the persona of being their own man, which is why you have a lot of aggressive, if you want to say aggressive, black women out there, because they have to do
Agree
for
with you 100%.
And so you have to understand, if you want that to change, we all have to make changes. Everybody has to come together and
but
say,
it seems like
no one's better than the other person.
No, but listen,
Peter.
What I hear,
what are you saying, Peter?
What I
oh my God, yo. Just a second, Cole wants to talk. He's been quiet.
Well, when I hear that, when you hear that, like this kind of stuff, like black men abandonment, where the black men, black fathers, etc., there's not a mystery. It's not like they're going to outer space. They're being snatched up. They're disenfranchised. They're in prison. They're on the corners. They're drug addicted. It's like there's a system that takes them out of their homes. There's a system that makes sure these families are broken. That means.
Let's get beyond what the white man.
Black and white cars with guys.
Wait, but I'm saying let's get beyond. Let's get beyond that though. Let's get beyond. Let's get beyond what the white man.
Black and white cars with guys. How do you get beyond people clearing?
No, listen to what I'm saying, okay? When you remove white racism, okay, when you remove it, all you are left with is the black man, the black woman, and the children, okay? And I'm saying that the physical infrastructure of any given community, the highways, the buildings, the roads, the power grid, all that stuff is built by men. It is not built by women. Now, because we've been screwed up and messed up.
You can't go back on that point again because you're making you go crazy on the show. Nobody's going to let that fly.
Listen. Because we haven't been there.
I'm a big girl. I can build a damn railroad.
I think everyone
Oh, my God, yo. I'm about to say fuck it and hang up, man. I'm about to say fuck it and hang up.
I mean, this is the shit that I can do if I need to.
Been talking the longest. Hang on.
Because y'all ain't listening, man. I mean, fuck it, yo.
I know,
you
but
go up
Peter,
and solve the problems you goddamn self, man.
But once you say that because men are building something that they're superior, hey man, women are doing stuff.
It's not a matter. You can call it what you want. Call it superior, whatever. What I am saying is that men are not going to build a structure they don't lead, and black women have a fundamental problem with that. I direct you to your nearest black community. What do you all see being built and maintained in the black community? Fuck what's going on in the white community, in the black community. What you don't have, the infrastructure that you don't have. Okay? Women do not build and maintain that.
But there's no men maintaining it either. What are you talking about?
That's my point. So that brings me to my next point. What we need is those type of strong men. However, every time I bring up having those type of strong men, what the women come through with, ooh, I don't like that because I don't know about niggas being in charge and leading everything.
No, you know why? Because you sound like a nigga that's going to beat a bitch's ass. Don't nobody want to get Chris Brown.
I'm not talking about beating. Nobody said anything about beating a bitch's ass. Nobody said anything about beating a woman's ass. But to me, the audacity of a woman to say that she's going to control what men build is mind-boggling.
All right, we're going to our next call, which is Peter. You're on the Know Thyself Radio show. Talk to us.
Yeah.
I am definitely going to be the voice of dissent in all of this. I've heard a lot of things tonight that I really have not liked. I really do believe that African Americans are too magical and too spiritual, and we have deviated so much away from being tethered to reality that we now have this inability to solve our problems. One of the things that one of the women said earlier that I thought was profound was where, and I've been making this statement a long time, was where she was talking about the idea and the concept that black women are God, and it's like if they were God, then there would be no reason to bring men into the conversation because everything would just simply be done. Now, going to the other woman who was talking about how the women are the rock and the foundation and they till the soil. I mean, when she said till the soil, first thing in my mind, I was like, where are you tilling the soil? Where is this getting done? What fields do you own and control? Where is this land, and what are you tilling? Like, is it soybeans? Is it beans? Like, where is this going on? Because it's not going on. The reason, in terms of equality, the reason why equality does not work is because men are the ones who lay down the physical foundations in any given community. This is why the world is patriarchal. Now, this isn't going on in the African American community. We have a collapsed, a broken patriarchy, which was by design because no other patriarchy wants to be challenged by an intact, thriving patriarchy where they're competing in the global markets out here. Okay, women are not going to build roads. They're not going to build hydroelectric power plants, the infrastructure. I hear a lot of women talking about being strong and independent. I'm like, well, you're not going to be strong and independent until some men get finished building the building that you're going to be strong and independent in and putting the air conditioning unit on the rooftop so that you can be in there and be comfortable. Okay? These are the things that men are supposed to do, and they don't do it. And the reason why equality doesn't work or the idea of matriarchy and things like that is because it's entirely too much work for men to lay down the foundations in any given community. It's too much work. Nobody is going to go out here and bust their behind off to establish something and then just hand you the keys because you think that your humanity should be recognized. It's not going to happen. The problem with why black men don't value black women currently as they should, or the black woman doesn't have any place higher than any other race of woman, is because black men are not passing anything on through the black woman. The black woman is not the facilitator of any structure that the black man currently is not building nor maintaining. So if we don't build it, it doesn't get done. Okay, and the thing is a lot of women really have a hard time with that concept, and I understand why they have a hard time with that concept, because if you look at the black community right now, what is being built and maintained? Nothing. There's everything in the world to make a black woman think that she's equal to her man, because unlike other races of men, black women are not dependent on black men for their survival. They don't get sustenance from us. They don't get jobs from us. They don't get economic opportunities from us. All right? We don't create economic opportunities for the children. So as a result, you know, they're like, well, why can't I be equal? It makes sense why they would think that, but when you really look at the structural aspect, not the spiritual, not the metaphysical, not the spookyism, not the Afrocentric, when you look at the structural aspect, you can clearly see that the reason why all of this is not working is because black men are not laying down the foundations in the community, and women are not dependent on black men for their survival.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
I like that fire he just bought. I like that.
Well, you know, I'm going to say that one thing that really got me was when he used words like African American. Peter used words like African American, and what is an African American? That's a consumer, as far as I can see, because that's what an African American does.
I'm not getting into the semantics of that. I don't want to get into the semantics of defining who is who. What I'm saying is a group of black people who were brought to this country. The men within the community don't control anything. This is one of the reasons why we can't control, you know, the black youth. Like one of the women were talking about, women going after the wrong guys or the thugs. Well, why wouldn't they go after those guys? The thugs and the drug dealers and the dope dealers are the closest thing to a black male power structure or hierarchy that exists in the community because the educated men aren't even there. They went off to join another patriarchy and enjoy the creature comforts of that society. That's what patriarchies create. And the thing is what people are trying to do is they're trying to convince black people to with words to be confident about themselves and feel that they are true mothers and everything. And it's real beautiful, but at the end of the day, it's like, okay, look at how white women are promoted. Why are white women arrogant and confident? White women are arrogant and confident because they got a whole media machine behind them that tells them and everybody else that they're the most beautiful woman on the face of the planet. Okay, there is no way for black women to walk around with no media machine, no promotion, and be confident about themselves. Now, when I break that down, the women are like, oh, yeah, you all need to go off and you need to build that as black men. But again, black men are not going to do that from a subordinate position. It's impossible for them to do. Okay, let's go with the matriarchal concept. So the black woman gets the resources that she gets from white men because she gets jobs from white men. She gives the resources to the black man so that he can go off and build her a pedestal and then help her up on it. How does that work? It doesn't work. It just doesn't. It doesn't work. The men have to lay down the foundation. Women cannot raise children in the vacuum of space. If men do not provide the safe and secure environment for them to raise children, they can't do their job. A lot of women have a problem with me talking about patriarchy, but if black men do not do their job, women cannot do theirs. And for further evidence, I direct you to your nearest black community, which is matriarchal, and 80-some% of black kids are being raised currently by single black mothers. It doesn't work.
Wow.
Okay. Well, brother,
no way around
it. On Facebook? Can you add me on Facebook? You on Facebook? I don't mean to cut it off, but can you add me on Facebook?
You're gonna have to. You're just gonna have to come to GenerationX.net. GenerationX.net. That's where you're gonna have to come.
What do you do at Generation? Generation. What talk about all this stuff. We blog. We talk about all this.
What is it, brother? Generation. What is it?
Generation-X.net. And just I use excessive amounts of profanity, even though I technically speaking shouldn't when I'm over there. But I have a lot of frustrations about the African American community. We've covered every aspect of what the situation is. A lot of black women are uncomfortable with black male leadership and the idea of being dependent on black men because there's no structure. Why? Think about it. If a person that you learn to disrespect or not to be, not to have any deference for, why on God's green earth would you want to be dependent on that individual? For the very person that you never see establishing anything, even for themselves. They don't have an economy. They don't have their own media. They don't promote themselves. They don't manufacture or produce things. You got black people running around talking about building black nations and we're the original man and pyramids vibrating at a higher frequency. If white people wanted to reinstitute slavery tomorrow, they could, because black people don't even manufacture weapons to defend themselves. The thing is you cannot get away from the realities of the earth. It's nothing wrong with being spiritual and metaphysical and all that other stuff. Right. But when you're not focused on the brass tacks, when you're not focused on the foundations that you actually need, so that you're actually standing on something tangible and physical, you've already lost, because all you have is nothing but hearts and Care Bears and feelings and buckets of positivity. And again, I direct you to your nearest black community as to where that's gotten us. It does not work. You need a foundation. You need a structure. And the thing is that structure, it has to be supported by an economy, okay? And the problem with a lot of brothers going around here, with the whole magical, metaphysical stuff, the problem with that is you got a lot of broke dudes who are broke and like to use all that other stuff to get the women that they want because, it pulls on the heartstrings and emotions and stuff like that. And people really feed into that because, nobody really wants to face the fact that all this other hard work has to be done. See, it's easy for anybody to go up there and talk about metaphysics and Afrocentric higher frequencies and Zulu mass and all that. That's easy. That's the easy part. The hard part is going off and getting 5 black men who got disposable income and aren't locked into the whole child support system or got too many mouths to feed, who got $5,000 to put together so that you can own up a corner store and kick the Asians out and move your ass in there and sell your products to your own people. That's the hard part. That's the hard part.
Brother,
you know what I'm saying? But
brother,
the cat, they want to roll out here with pyramids of Egypt and Giza and Orion's belt and the Anunnaki mother's spaceship that done come down from the sky, and how we all going to get on it, and God's going to throw a lightning bolt and solve everything. All the messed up stuff that other groups have done, and I ain't seen not one lightning bolt. Not one lightning bolt. But yeah, black people, we can't do that because, that's morally irreprehensible. We need to focus on the situation on the ground, the problems at hand, which are economical. Every social problem that you want to think of in the African American community, not to say that spirituality doesn't have a place, but 90% of the problems in the African American community are directly tied to the lack of economics. There's no economic. Women are talking about, I'm raising my son to be, a good black man. And I'm like, and when he turns 18, what economic opportunities have you created for him to walk into so that he can be the man to go off and support a family or support a black woman? They ain't got no answer for me for that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you teach them if they don't have the tools. Like, they don't need a spiritual hammer. They need a physical hammer. And I'm sorry if I'm going off. But I had to sit through a whole bunch of nuts and berries.
The heat.
Let me say this. I'm going to get with you because I definitely want you to come back because this is the kind of message I'm trying to get over. I don't mind the spirituality. I don't mind understanding the spirituality, but we have to build. And the reality of the situation, a lot of the stuff we talk, and even me, when we go off into the pyramids and all this, I'm a law student, and I will tell you this about the law. Anything that you cannot prove is hearsay. So what are we all in right now in the here and now? Right here and now is a patriarchal society. Now, I can't deny the facts of the mother because it's proven. But the situation we are in now is what needs to be fixed. And I thank you for your comments. Powerful.
I just want to say this. I just want to say this before I go. I'm saying, in terms of, nobody's saying that black women don't have any value, that they're nobody. Right. But I'm saying at the end of the day, if men do not lay the foundations down, if they do not set it up, if they do not protect the black woman, right? Then the black woman is just out there by herself. And what women need to understand is men are not, they're just not. And I'm saying you can look at the community and see this. Men are not going to do that from a position of equality or subordinate position because it's entirely too much work. Nobody's going to go out there and build you a foundation, build you a castle, build you a shrine, and then just hand you the keys and let you run it. How would a woman even run or manage or be in charge of a community that she does not physically create? How does that happen? It's impossible. And one of the problems with the women and some of the guys that they're choosing because they don't believe in male leadership, because they want to get with these guys who aren't in the proper position because that allows them to call the shots, is generationally the situation that has been created is now we have a situation where you have no knowledge of how to maintain the physical structure being passed on to the next generation of boys. There's no legacies. There's no lineage. There's no wealth being passed on generationally. There's nothing that says, okay, this is how you start a business, son. This is the next step. This is how you maintain the community. You need to go now that I gave you my business with our name on it, call it, Jamal and Jacobs. Okay, you're going to go out there and you're going to get with a sister who's going to produce another black child for you. And if you have a son, you pass it on to that son. And if you have a daughter, you hope that she goes out and finds another black man in the community who's doing the same thing. But as I direct you to in this black community, ain't nobody doing that. Ain't nobody else doing that. So even if you go out here and you grab the blackest woman you can find with a plate in her lip and a bone in her nose and a big giant afro, guess what? You are all by yourself because there's no community. It's just you on an island, regardless of how Afrocentric you may want to be. You're by yourself. There's nobody else for you to network with. There's nobody else for you to call up and say, hey, I need to make this move. I got to do this because the white boys are trying to jam me up and they put roadblocks in my way. You're by yourself. So, this is the problem that goes on here. This is why you have brothers who believe that they can get with white women and put their seed wherever they want and one drop rule themselves. That's because if you don't have a community, if there's no black infrastructure, if you're not passing on wealth and trying to keep it black, then it doesn't matter where you put your seed. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't, people want to go into the metaphysical magic of it, and I'm like, I guess you could go in that direction at that point, but I'm just saying, with no structure, it's only a matter of time before the other communities come over the horizon and say, what's in your wallet, and then that's the end of us.
That's right.
So that's all I got to say. I didn't mean to hijack your show or rant. I had to get that off my chest.
No, brother, I appreciate you coming. Matter of fact, I'll get with you, generation-x.net, or either drop me an email, WarrenHouston@KnowThyselfRadio.net. I'd like to bring you back on the show, and we get more off into it, because this is basically what I want to do with this show. We have to get in the mindset.
You said KnowThyself.net?
Yeah, Know Thyself Radio. Warren Houston is WarrenHouston, Warren Houston @KnowThyselfRadio.net.
All right, Warren Houston Know Thyself .radio.
Know Thyself Radio. KNOWTHYSELF Radio.net.
Okay.
Yeah. And just so you know, if you all have heard of me and I've gone and I've probably said stuff that I regret in the past, but this is Sergeant Willie Pete.
Who is that?
Sergeant Willie Pete.
What did you say your name was? Willie Pete.
Sergeant Willie Pete. You'll find out, and there'll probably be people who will say don't talk to him or whatever. But I'm past all that. So, yeah. I mean, we've all, like I said, we've gone at this from every angle, and there's certain things that are used that are. It's not that they're useless, but as it pertains to challenging some of the things that we have to challenge out here, they serve no purpose. Until we get a foundation set up, I mean, even if you have a religion or a church or whatever you have, until a church costs money. You know what I mean? You can't even have a place to worship until you build yourself a building, which means you're going to need raw materials. But see, people don't want to focus on that. They'll say, well, we can have faith without a church because it's not about a church. And then I'm like, when you're sitting out there in the rain with your and words are bleeding off of your page, people want to say that that's all they need. I'm like, okay.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the point I was making myself, basically, about the semantics of words. A lot of these things that we're arguing about is not going to get a nation built. It's not going to get a nation changed. Even with the aspect of, and we have to use, in everything we do, we have to use common sense. We have to sit around and look at what's in front of us, what's around us. And whether we like it or whether we realize it or not, we're in a patriarchal, male-dominated society. So in order to come out of it, you're not going to automatically just kick against it and automatically come out.
But don't
operate from the point that you're in. Because one thing I've realized,
I'm saying don't say that like patriarchy is a bad thing. I'm at the end of the day, because men do the building, everything is going to fall to a patriarchal structure.
That's what I get from my understanding of the Kemetic sciences. We are builders. We are logic. We are thinkers. Woman is spirit. Man is logic. So we build. Right. That's what we do. So that doesn't change.
I'll give you a way to put it. Men are the builders and maintainers.
There are mothers who can build things. There are mothers who can build houses. There are mothers who can who are architects. There are mothers
at the collective level.
There are mothers who are who can sludge, use a jackhammer. I know personally mothers who can swing axes just as good as any.
Oh my God!
So there are mothers who are.
There are no lines of black women trying to work in a coal mine. Okay, that's what I'm saying. At the collective, I get what you're saying. Yes, there are some exceptional women out there, but at the collective level, you're not going to see women out here doing that type of stuff. And then what do you think is going to happen to women when you put them in the trenches like that? You don't put the women who birthed your children in the trenches like that.
And mothers have been defenders of their land. So if you want to talk about
my God, this is what I'm talking about. These are the delusions of grandeur. I don't mean to insult you, but
even to right now.
No, you're wrong. I direct you to your nearest black community. If black women can do all this, then how come the black community looks screwed up? If you all are equal to men in every capacity, then how come you haven't replaced black men in every capacity?
I don't say that we're equal. You didn't hear me say that I'm equal. I don't say that.
You're saying that black women are equally as capable of doing everything that I just laid out as black men, and that is not the case, not at the collective level. You're not going to have women going out here and building skyscrapers in the black community just because they're pissed off at what I'm saying. Okay, just because what I say sounds sexist. They're not going to do that. And I'm saying I'm not basing this off of a hypothetical. I'm basing this off of the current conditions of the black community. The current conditions, okay? You know, it's been 40, 50 years of single mothers raising children all by themselves. And as you can see, they can't even raise their sons to be the so-called on-point men that they need for the next generation because, again, they have nothing set up for these boys. When these boys walk out there, there's no economic opportunities for any of these boys in Camden, New Jersey, or North Philly, or South Philly, or whatever, the south side of Chicago. Right? I don't even know Chicago, but I'm just saying, you got Chief Keef and all that other stuff because there are no economic opportunities. The audacity of stand up and act like they've been building foundations is absurd.
We have to bring our brother back, but I'm going to ask one thing in that. Yes, we got to bring him back. But he gotta be able to listen to the mothers. He gotta yield the floor somewhere.
Argument. We'll be back and forth. We'll be back and forth all night. Peter, I thank you for calling in.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Drop me a line, brother. Hit me up. I'm definitely gonna bring you back. Hit me up, and we'll talk. All right. Thanks, brother. I appreciate your comment because this is what I'm talking about, the reality of the thing. I don't think nobody's trying to disrespect the mother. Everybody understands the mother principle. We need to build, and we need to deal with the reality that's before us.
And as we always say bang, bang.